Hello,
George,
hello there, my friend.
I'm good, my man. We got it working. That's awesome.
I know, when you get old, technology sort of gets a hold of you.
Bro, you know what it is? You don't realize when you get old till you get old. Even me, I think I know technology, but I realize I don't know it as good as I used to. Before, it used to be so easy for me. Now there's so much going on. It's a little more complicated.
Yeah, and I try to stay away from just, hanging out with all that stuff and just enjoy life, man. And it would have probably been easier for us to see each other here in Orlando because I live in Orlando.
Oh, you live in Orlando? Yeah, I'd love to meet you, my man.
Yeah.
Congratulations on I was reading a little about you. I went to your page and I saw that you were the man. You hold on. Is the movie Blow based on you, George? I remember the guy George in that movie.
So technically not, but my publisher, Random House, was going to sue them because they ended up taking a lot of elements out of my book to make Blow. Like,
Yep.
there's a part, well, number one, he marries a Colombian wife, which was not true.
Yes.
I married a Colombian wife. There's a part where he goes, "Oh, this is a spiritual experience," you know, and he was not. Neither was I. I was an atheist at that time. And then, uh, you know, I mean, like, think about it. You're going to go to Mexico with a bag full of money and you're going to come back alive to tell about it?
Yeah, my man. Are you Colombian?
No, I'm Cuban.
You're Cuban. That's
Yeah.
awesome, my man. And then like, let me ask you a question. You tell us your story, my man. I'd love to what years you're talking about the 80s when Miami was built on the cocaine business. And that's
Yeah.
what you came in and you were one of the biggest importers at one point. Did you use planes? How did you do it? How did you bring all this stuff in? And then tell us your story a little bit.
So, yeah, I was at the beginning of it. I started in 1977. I was recruited. My family was very wealthy in Cuba. Came to the United States. My father lost everything. He came with three little kids, 10, 9, and 6, making 85 cents an hour at J. Byron's, which is like J.C. Penney's, as a janitor. And my mother got left behind. And the only reason my mother wanted us to come because she was very, very religious, and not my dad. My dad was just typical Catholic person, he goes to church on the holidays and, very private, but tremendous morals and principle. And, because I remember, I mean, we're going hungry. I mean, literally,
Yeah.
we had two raw eggs in the morning and then rice and black beans at night on Monday,
And this
rice
was
and
in
red.
Cuba or in
No,
America?
in America.
In
We came at the
America.
age of
Wow.
10. So the reason my mother wanted to come because she didn't want her kids to grow up in a communist country and we were coming to America to be with God. Now in Cuba we had everything, right? We lived in one square block home, very, very wealthy. And so come to America, 11 of us living in a one bedroom apartment in Little
That's
Havana,
crazy.
sleeping in the floor, writing down what time you're gonna piss because it's only one bathroom, you know? But my dad never complained. And we, like I said, we're going hungry literally because we had rice and black beans one day, red beans the next day, white beans, then rotate. Didn't have That's the only food we had, no lunch. And I remember this kid that took a sandwich to work, to a school. And I was like, man, that sandwich is like a Wagyu steak for me right now.
Yeah.
And I remember my father coming to asking the kid, and I'm like, hey, how does your family afford that, man? He's like, well, we get these food stamps. And I said, really? What is that? He said, well, you get this thing and you go to the store and you buy groceries like money. So I thought I discovered the Americas. So I waited till my dad came home. And when my dad came home, I was like, hey, dad, my friend who I've been telling you that gets sandwich, he tells me that he gets his food stamps. I said, Dad, you know about food stamps? And, he nodded his head. And I said, Dad, why don't we get food stamps? I said, son, that's for poor people. And I'm like, holy shit,
Yeah, we're
we're,
poor.
we're not poor yet. We got to
Yeah.
work our way to poverty. I said, Dad, we're not poor. He said, no, son, we just don't have any money. He put his finger in
Yeah.
my chest and said, get up early and start and help feed your family.
My
I
dad was
guess,
the same. We came to this country. We didn't have anything, and my dad never got on the food stamps or food program. My
no,
mom used to save money. She's a cook at home, and I think it built character. It built us who we are today by not having handouts given to us and knowing that we had to support ourselves. It made us who
yeah.
we are.
There are some people that really need it. desperately. But the truth of the matter, for us, for my dad, was he'd rather see his children go hungry
Yeah.
than, because he realized that, look, I was talking to my brother the other day. I said, had we stayed in Cuba, I would have been a mama's boy, right? Because my
Yeah.
dad, I mean,
Your
for me, I
parents were
thought,
rich.
well, by the age of 10, I had spoken to my father 3 times. If I needed to speak to my father, I had to ask my mother for an appointment. And only if it was really important would he even talk to me. Come to the United States, all that broke loose. Now we're all struggling together. And I'm seeing this giant of a man not complaining, making 85 cents an hour, not being able to feed his family and a
But that's
proper
what
meal.
at that point maybe you should use food stamps. That's what the America's great for. When you're down, it's there to help you. That's what I feel we need to have our social programs here and
Oh,
use
yeah,
them in a
no doubt
sense.
about it. No, yeah,
So
without a
tell
doubt.
me about your transition. So you were a young kid, and then how did you transition to the world of moving cocaine? And then tell us your story of how what happened after that
Yeah.
too, my man.
So at the age of 17, I became the youngest employee in the Federal Reserve Bank. And I went worked for the Federal Reserve Bank. I went to University of Miami full time during the day. I mean, at night, and I worked at the Federal Reserve Bank full time, and I really had no life. I was a nerd, really a nerd. I never done drugs in my life. I was always been an athlete. Never did anything wrong. I was like so laser focused on what my life was going to be, and my life was simple. I'm going to graduate by 20. There was no student loans back then. I was going to save enough money, go to law school at 22, graduate by 25, and be a millionaire by 30. That was it. That
You
was
had
my
fun.
entire mission. And so, literally, when I was graduating from University of Miami, my accounting professor, who had come from Michigan, a partner in Price and Waterhouse, he came to me and like, "Hey, do you wanna come work for me? I'll give you a secretary, office, everything that you ever wanted." And to me, it was like, we always had that entrepreneur spirit, right?
Yep.
My mother used to say, look, you're never going to be rich working for somebody. And, but recently something really critical happened. I ended up discovering something that I struggled forever. I mean, I never crossed the line, man. I was like
You're
so
a
late
straight
to focus.
arrow.
If people, I mean, all the alcohol in my life by the age of 20 could fit in a little teacup. Never smoked pot, never did any drugs at all. And then suddenly I say to myself, why did I make this huge leap? Why did I make this huge leap? Now, I didn't cross the line. I freaking catapulted over the line.
Yep.
And
You
and
made
the
the
real,
line.
yeah, and what it was is, now for our documentaries coming out, I'm giving the director pictures, and I find this picture that my dad saved at the airport here in Miami with all this all white people telling us Miami's not Cuba, speak English. I mean, go back. We don't want you, on and on. And you know what? Subconsciously, I said to him, and I discovered this happened at 20, and now at 69, I discovered it. Subconsciously, I said this. I know you're never going to accept me, but you know what? I'm going to make you freaking fear me. You're
Yeah.
going to respect me. And so when they asked me to come work for them, I jumped on it. Now, I didn't know there were drug dealers at all at that time, right? Because it was a different world. Now, see,
Yeah, in
the
the
world that we,
80s, drugs wasn't that big. You're
well,
talking
this
about
is the 70s.
Miami wasn't even built yet. Miami was built on cocaine. All the banks, everything there was built on
We
the
built
backs of
Miami.
cocaine.
Listen, Miami was nothing but
Yep.
a sleepy town where uh, all Jewish people went to die. That's what
Yep.
Miami Beach was. South Beach, where you go buy drugs and a cheap whore, and that's what it was. People said recently, hey, the only time that trickle down economics ever worked was in Jorge Valdes era in Miami, because we built Miami.
No,
We
no, yeah.
spread that
There's a lot of
wealth.
stories about how Miami was, the banks were all built on drug money. And Miami was built, and you guys spent so much money and you bit so much into the economy that Miami became what it is today because of all the drug money coming in.
Listen, in 1977, the Federal Reserve Bank in Miami, 77 to 84, had more money, the Federal Reserve Bank in Miami, than all other Federal Reserve banks combined.
It's
I mean, we
crazy.
would literally walk. I would literally walk into the bank. I mean, we're doing 80 to $100 million a month in 1977. Now,
That's crazy, man. That's like, and I remember reading about Pablo Escobar where he was like willing to pay Colombia's debt off with billions of dollars. That's how much money was being made in the drug world.
listen, Pablo Escobar came 6 years after us. I remember when
So
Pablo
you were
was,
before Pablo Escobar.
oh
You were
my
building
God,
this up
yeah.
before that. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. I remember I remember when Pablo was my godfather's chauffeur. I mean driver, a gopher, you
That's
know.
crazy.
So yeah, and that's really what ended up changing the world. Pablo is what ended up creating a world that
Why
was
was Pablo so big compared to like other people that were there? Was he just the most notorious? Is that why he was so big? Because he was, I know he
well,
would always say, "Hey, you can either have the gold or you can have the lead. You pick which
right.
one you want."
Okay, so Pablo was not the biggest or the wealthiest. There was, see, going back, there was no Medellin cartel. Never ever was. Medellin cartel was a name that the United States government gave all these different organizations because if they group them together, then they got one common enemy, and it's easy to go of them. But there was people that could buy and sell Pablo every day that no one even knew about.
They were
There was
smart though.
groups,
That means you're smart. That's the
right?
way you want to be. You don't want to be known. Pablo became known, and that's what made him a target.
Pablo was an egomaniac, and originally he had the good intention of becoming a politician to help his community, right? And when they called him out, then he ended up just starting to kill people. And then after a while, another thing that has surfaced, which I knew for a long time, was Pablo was turning in people. Like
Yep.
Pablo was getting rid of his company by calling the DEA under a false name and
Yep.
telling, "Hey, this and that boat is going," you know. So yeah, it was very very complex. But when we started, the guy that started me, we were the only group at that time. You know,
Yep.
we're bringing in 600 kilos in
How
1977.
were you bringing it in? Were you flying it in? Because I watched Blow and all these American Made and a couple of these movies, and that guy used to fly it in, and they used to bring it different. What was your method back then?
Customs,
So just come right through customs with suitcases?
United States, no, United States Customs. We had customs agents in the payroll, and we will send engines. So we will send an engine, a Caterpillar engine,
Yep.
hollowed out to Colombia to be rebuilt because that was like a common practice. And then the engine would come back hollowed out with a 55-gallon drum that could hold 115, 120 kilos in it. And then every third Thursday of the month, I would get a call at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning where to pick it up and pick up a U-Haul with the engines in it. And that's how we did it for until I went to prison.
So how did
And,
you get
and
caught? Were you snitched on? How did you get caught at the end, or they just caught a shipment? Because I feel everyone that's big in it was an informant or something involved with the government. That's really how it
well,
would be.
the government will tell you that the only way that they're going to catch anybody, 90% of the arrests are made on snitches.
Snitches.
You know, I went to prison twice on a conspiracy charge. We're the only country in the world that has that charge, right?
Yep.
So anyway, no drugs involved. There's never been a wiretap of me. There's never been a compromising picture of me. I mean, because I run this like a business. When we started, the biggest thing about it for us was that we had a lot of enterprises. We had airline company, we had construction company, we had banks, we had cattle company. We had a lot of different businesses.
Because you had to clean the money somehow too. So you put the money through those businesses, correct?
Well, and at that time there was not even no need for that because there was no money laundering laws. I mean, I could
Oh, you
go.
can just go to the bank with
Yeah,
$10
we
million
could.
dollars and just deposit it. It wasn't like nowadays we have a $10,000
Oh yeah.
reporting thing.
No, listen, I'd go to Barnett Bank with $4 million, and then just after hours they keep a cashier, and I give him $40,000, which was like unbelievable amounts of money. Most of them bank managers were
They
making
didn't even make that much a year. They didn't even make that much a year. So
180 bucks a
they
week.
loved you.
I mean, minimum wage was at that time was $1.37.
That's
So yeah,
crazy.
and then I ended up opening foreign bank accounts in different countries around the world, and then that's how we got it. And then a lot of times we just flew it right back to
So
Colombia and
George, let
left
me
it.
ask you a question. Did you lose all your money? Did the government confiscate it, or you still have some left and you kept some
The the
overseas, or
first
what happens?
no, the first time that I got arrested in 1979, I crashed over the jungles of Panama, and Noriega betrayed us, and he tortured me for 28 days, where I
Yeah.
bled for 5 years every time I took a piss. And then I was brought to the United States and charged with heading the largest drug conspiracy in the world at that time. given a $3 million bond, which was unheard of. And I was sentenced to 15 years on a lie, on a freaking lie, man. Like the guy that I hired to go to Bolivia, because when I went to my godfather, I said, look, the Bolivian government wants to work with us and we can buy it for half. And for every kilo we buy, they'll give us one on credit. He's like, listen, we're making $2-3 million a month right now profit. Why do we want to get involved with something we don't know? Anyway, of course, being young and stupid and, and greedy at that time, I went for it. So through this attorney friend of mine, I hired this pilot who little did I know had a case pending in Mobile, Alabama, had said he was dead. And then 4 years earlier, so they could not indict me in the Southern District of Florida, Northern or Middle, because there was nothing. Noriega sold the cocaine. There were not even samples of the cocaine. So they ended up indicting me in Macon, Georgia, which I had never been in my entire life, and saying that I was the guy supplying that guy, the pilot, the head of the pilots. They went to Bolivia and kidnapped the Bolivian Air Force captain, who was our middleman between me and Roberto Suarez. They brought him to trial with me. He gets found innocent. I get found guilty. I'm like, if he didn't sell anything, what the hell did
Yeah.
I buy? So, they wanted me and they got me. And I came out, I did five
Why did they
years.
want you so bad though? Why did they go after him and
It,
other people?
it,
Was it because there were snitches? I'm assuming it's always snitches at the end, or they have a case against you and they're gonna go after whoever they can lock down better.
I ended up finding out 7 years later that it was my attorney.
Oh, your attorney was in on it.
Yeah, my attorney, who was at that time, you trust him like a life,
Never trust a lawyer. Never trust a
yeah,
lawyer.
or a liar, like my mother would say.
Yeah.
And yeah, he ended up getting caught bribing a judge, and then ended up telling them. And I could figure out forever why they went after me with this fairness. I mean, I didn't even have a traffic ticket, man. I was like president of the Young Republican Party in the state of Florida. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And worked for the federal government, a student at the University of Miami, and they're like, my God, I mean, Al Capone didn't even get that much bail. So it was,
So
but I
what did
found
they
out.
do? Did they confiscate all your money? Were they able to track your
Well,
money?
no.
And what about your boss and other people? Who else got in trouble?
So they couldn't find anybody. They couldn't find any of the money at that time. And I came out, did my 5 years, and I came out and went back to it again out of stupidity because I was a multimillionaire. And
Yeah,
so
why did you get back in the game? I always wonder that too, because even when I watched Blow, he had so much money he didn't know where to put it anymore. He ran out of space to put it, and then I'm like, why does this guy continue doing this? But I feel like once you're in it, you can't leave. But why would you continue doing it, and why not just retire and live off that money, or is it just young and dumb where you want more and more and more?
power,
Yeah,
power.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so when people ask me, what do you miss? Do you miss your? I had 3 jets, 4 helicopters, $1 million worth of cars, houses all over the country. You miss that? Of course, who's not going to miss that?
That's
But
true.
I don't miss the consequences of those choices. But what I have struggled with forever till today, and I walked away in 1987. Think about this, a lot of years is that power. That power
Yeah,
that yeah,
I
I
think
could go, I
that's
could
the
go into a
same with
club.
business too. Like even me when I was at Edible Arrangement, there's a power that comes with being an executive that you lose. Even though you have the money, not having that power is a big thing. I agree with you on that.
Ask yourself why a politician who's a billionaire lives a hell of a life, loved by everyone, decides to run for office so that half the world will hate him.
My
You know?
chat is asking, where's the money buried? Can we go find this money? What's the deal?
Well,
Where's all this money?
so when I get out, see, the thing about it is people say you make so much money, you must have so much money stored away.
Yeah, you
I
gotta
can
have some
get,
stored away, right?
I can guarantee you that 98% of everyone that got involved in the drug business, by the time they got arrested and went through all the attorneys, they're dead broke. Dead
Yes.
broke. They suck you like a siphon. Every time. I mean, I paid in 1979 $1.5 million for attorneys. I had the
That's
best attorneys in the
crazy. In
world.
1980s
Yeah.
money, $1 million. So the attorneys are getting paid off too. Everyone's in on the
Oh my
scheme.
God.
The
They're not,
government's
listen.
making money. They're confiscating it. The banks are making money. Everyone wants you to go down because then they get to steal the money that you made.
Hey, I tell my kids, listen. It doesn't matter in life how much you make. It matters what you spend. I can tell you what it is to live on zero, and I can tell you how to live on $2 million a month in 1977 money. You
Yes.
go around and you're spending 10 grand at a strip joint, and you're paying 5 bodyguards $5,000 a week, and you're paying off people left and right, and everybody wants a handout. Trust me, man, you go through $1 million, $2 million a month like nothing. So, but when I got out, I went back, and then the world changed, right? And then that's when Pablo was involved, and that's when all the murders and all that. And I only went back for a year and a half, and then I was the largest quarter horse breeder in the country, so I made all my money legit because I'm out. So I'm clean. And in 1990, I get indicted. So Jeff Sessions, who became Trump's attorney general the first time, with me was a great guy, honest, honorable guy. He came to me and it was real simple right off the bat. Lots of money, little time, little money, lots of time. And I said, "Do you know how much I got?" He said, "No." He gets up, walks over, opens the door. 4 agents come in: DA, FBI, IRS, and Customs. They knew to the penny how much toilet paper I have been buying the last 4 years. And they said $66 million, and we want every bit of it. And I was tired. I had become a Christian 3 months earlier, and I just wanted to change my life, man. And I was tired of fighting them. And there's just no way you beat the government.
Yeah,
There's
you're
just
not
no
beating it.
way.
You're right.
You
End of the
might you
day,
might win a
they'll
battle
tire
here.
you out till the end of it.
Yeah, you win a battle here and a battle there, but they win the war because they got everything. When I got arrested the first time, I never forget this agent that picked me up, Peter DeGaglia, very, very decent man. He said, "You're about to go into a courtroom in 1 hour." He said, "I have a son your age, and he will never be able to achieve what you're capable of achieving. But when you go in that courtroom in 1 hour, you're going to hear this word: United States of America versus Jorge Valdes. That's 200 million people back then versus you." He said, "Come Friday, I'm going to get my paycheck. And I'm going to get my paycheck every Friday till I retire. I
Yep.
can afford to let you get away with it a million times. You cannot afford to get caught once. There's the odds, brother. You know, if I need you to come and testify on my behalf, and you tell me, George, I will do that, but I got no money for a plane ticket, I cannot send you the money because that's obstruction of justice. Now, if the government tells you, hey, I want you to testify against George, and you say, I want $1 million, they can give you $1 million. So how
Yeah.
are you going to win?
No,
How
you're
are you
not
going
gonna
to
win.
win?
So how much time did you spend in jail? How much
10,
time did you get? And
10
you went.
years.
You said you went twice.
Yeah, so I forfeit every penny and went into prison for another 10-year sentence. Really, the deal that my attorney worked out was because they didn't have the guy that was testifying against me, which was a made-up charge. The night before I got arrested, ends up killing himself on an airplane, crashing in the fog, using a DEA airplane to smuggle. So they had no case against me, and and I was just tired, man. And I'm like, look. My attorney says, all we ask you to do is let him plead to violation of parole. Because I did back then, you do 1/3 of your sentence. So I got a 15-year sentence, which in 1979 was the largest sentence in the Federal Bureau of Prison. And I was 23 years old. And so I served 1/3 of it, and I got 10 years on the parole. So if you do 9 years, I mean 2 days short of that 10 years, and you violate it, you start all over. You owe him every penny of it. So anyway, so we ended up going there and pleading to that 10 years, and I went back
So
for
did
another.
you once you got out of jail? Did you get back in the business, or did you go work in the corporate America? What did you do to get your life back
So
together? Because you
so
seem like you
what?
live in a nice house. You figured it out since then.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened is when in prison, I decided I was going to change. It's all about your mind, right? Your mindset. I decided. I went in there. And the first thing I did is took the counselor that got me, that was receiving. I said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And he's like, "What for?" I said, "You're going to house me. You're going to feed me. You're going to clothe me for the next X amount of years, and I don't have to worry about anybody in the outside because I ain't got no money." So I decided I really wanted to grow in my faith, and I started to study the Bible a lot. And I ended up getting another degree in theology. Started my master's when I was released. I went to Wheaton College in Illinois, finished my master's in theology. Then I was accepted to Loyola for a PhD in Bible and ethics. And I was named the Hispanic Doctor Student in America 2 years in a row by the
That's
Pew
awesome.
Foundation. And then my dad died. And when my dad died, I mean, and I had the best job because there was only 5 Hispanics in the entire United States country with a PhD in Bible compared to 5,000 Anglos. So I was hired by every university. And when my dad died, I realized like I'm missing this man. He was my best friend. He died in my arms. And I'm like, he never gave me nothing, but he gave me his presence. So I
Yeah.
told my wife, we just got married. I said, what I'm going to do is the minute she finishes her master's, I said, I'm going to move to Georgia and be a full-time dad to my children, to my
That's
four
beautiful,
children.
my man.
And I went down there, didn't know what to do. I started a little service master, a little cleaning company, carpet cleaning company, and cleaning people's toilet. And you talk about humbling. I mean, I remember
That's humbling.
doing this trailer, and this hillbilly telling me,
Yeah, doing millions
"Boy,
of dollars, then going back to start all over again. That's
yeah,
something that's very hard to do, and God bless you that.
yeah,
Then let
well,
me ask you a question. Were you humbled in jail? Where did you come to this conclusion? Because a lot of people go to jail, then they go back into it. Why? What made the change where you said, I'm never getting back into this business and I'm going to start over again? Was it in jail where you
no,
rehabilitated, or was
remember,
it just your own mind?
I made that change 4 years before I got arrested. I walked away at the beginning of '87. I got arrested late
So why,
1990.
hold on. So if you walked away 4 years, they went after you even though you were out of the business? They still
Oh
wanted you?
man. Yeah, they wanted the money. They could not stand to see that I had this multi-million dollar ranch in Florida. I had a house in Vail, a house in the ocean in Fort Myers. I had $1 million worth of jets and cars, and they couldn't stake it, and they just made a joint task force and they went
They
after them. They
wanted to
wanted,
make an example out of you. They wanted to make sure that you ended with nothing at the end of the day, which I can understand why the government does that because
yeah,
they want to catch
and they
everyone.
saved me. Honestly, they saved me.
Why didn't you pay? Oh yeah, exactly. Think about that. If you were stayed in, you probably would have not
Well,
ended well at the end.
if you see Cocaine Cowboys, I don't know if you've seen it on Netflix. I mean, you will see like the guys that I got started, who became the biggest in America. They betrayed me. I mean, when I came out of prison, they supposed to have home. I handed them, like the prosecutor says in Netflix. He said, "There's two ways in life to succeed: you work hard or you get lucky." They got lucky that Jorge Valdes went to prison and handed them the keys to the kingdom. And they were supposed to be saving money for me. And when I came out, they didn't give me anything, and actually again saved me, right? Because had I gotten involved with them later on, there were murders, there were all kinds of stuff that's
Yeah,
not who I was. I could cross that line when I thought it was a business. I used to tell people, listen, we're the Kennedys of the 20th century. We're not violent. We've never hurt anybody. We've helped a lot of people. We've created Miami the way that it is. And I said, I'm just not. And when I saw that the business was no longer for our clients, who the high society of America, the movie stars, 95% of all our drugs went to California. And when I saw that now kids were getting hurt, when I saw that there was violence, when I saw that you needed to carry a gun to go anywhere, that's not me. And that's not who I
yep.
was brought up, how I was raised to be. And I walked away. And that was hard walking away, because I walked away making $1 million for doing nothing. Because when I came out of prison, I was nowhere near any drugs. All I did is authorize the planes to come or not.
Yep.
And so
Did you ever
I
use the
had changed my
product?
life.
Did you ever use your product?
I
Were
did
you
at
like
the end.
partying?
At the end, and the sad part, I used it when I had to pay for it. And for me, it's been a series of things. It's a big struggle. I believe, for me as a person, I am a committed Christian, but I believe that we all come into a world and we have this emptiness within us, and society wants to fill it. How? Drugs, pornography, women, money, power,
Yeah,
whatever,
they
anger.
wanna push the degenerate stuff on kids.
Right.
That's what they
And
want.
the thing about it, it doesn't, man. At the end of the day, we got to sit down and ask ourselves, what is our purpose in life? What is our meaning? We only
Yeah.
got a short amount of period on this earth. Can we say that when we leave this earth, we're going to leave it better than when we came?
Yep.
I live with the regret of what I was instrumental in beginning, but now we've sent over 950,000 books to 980 prisons across America to give people hope, to let them know, listen, you can mess your life up. You can really screw it up big time, but there's faith. There's a God who forgives. There's redemption. You can become better. If your life is a movie, it doesn't have to end the way it began.
No, I
And
hear you.
and we get,
So
and I
George, how
do
many
that with
kids
my
do
own
you
money.
have? You're married. You have how many kids do you have?
Yeah, I have 6 children and 6 grandchildren. And
That's beautiful. Is that like the happiest thing for you to have this
oh yeah,
beautiful family now that you built? Even though, George, I give it to you that you're alive, my man. A lot of people didn't make it out alive. So
five
that's
of
like you
us.
said, you got out of it and you're still alive and you're running around and you're able to tell your story and change people's lives. For that,
Yeah,
I congratulate you. And being
I
able to
just,
do, and you paid your time. Anyone that says, "Hey, he was this," you paid your dues. You paid
man,
your dues,
listen,
bro.
10 years at that time, and worse than that is the tortures in Panama. When I got sent to the United States, one day my father came to visit me in prison crying, and I'm like, Dad, why are you crying? Because I never told my parents. They thought I was a businessman. Because literally we had a lot of legitimate business. We looked at cocaine just as a side business, and my dad is
So
like,
you were
because
running a legitimate like engine companies and other things, a farm and all that, and the cocaine was just something else that you added into that legitimate business.
that's why it was easy for me to walk away from it, right? Because
Yep.
it's just like you walk away from a business that no longer has any meaning to you. So my dad said, "Hey, this gentleman came to our home, was brought to our home to tell us that they should be really proud of you, of your son, because I tortured him day and night for 28 days, and he would not give me his name."
God bless you, bro. Can you
You know,
tell me about the torture? What did they do? Did they beat you? Did they
Oh
waterboard
yeah,
you?
they,
Like
they
what?
would come in. They would come in 3 times a day and beat us till we pass out. They threw us in a
That's
dungeon
crazy.
in a prison called La Modelo, which have been condemned for like 100 years. It's almost like those prison limits, and they would just come in day and night and just beat us. I mean, one time they put a cattle prod to our testicle. We're naked in the floor, handcuffed. There's no food for 28 days. Oh yeah, I mean,
That's crazy,
literally,
man.
brother. You jump this high.
And look, and you got cattle prod on the balls, and you still had 6 kids. You got some tough balls, bro. You
Yeah,
got some tough genetics. God bless you, my
yeah.
man.
6 kids. I just celebrated my 28th anniversary with my wife. We've been together for 30 years. And I'm so
Congratulations,
blessed,
man.
man. I wake up every day in love and we have a great life, man. And I
Where
just,
are you? Where are you in Orlando?
in Lake Nona.
Oh, you're Lake Nona. Okay, I'm in Windermere. You know what I want to do is, I think I have to end this soon, but I want to do a live with you in person. I want you to come to my house. We'll sit down. We'll spend an hour or two together and do a live together. And I'd love to learn about. I don't want to just talk about the drug world and all that. I want you to talk about life. I want you to talk about the lessons you learned and things that you change. And if you, I'd love to read your book before I meet you too, so I can really get a history on you because I feel everyone wants to talk about the mistakes we made. I want to talk about the not the mistakes, but the changes you made to become who you are today. And you seem like a very nice man. You seem like someone that's found God at the end of the day and built himself a beautiful family that your life is all about your kids now and really changing your life and helping others, which is a beautiful story in itself.
Yeah, I know. And that's the story I like to tell. And that's what my documentary is going to be about. I turned down $1 million from Hollywood 3 times to tell the same crappy story. I don't want to tell that story. I want to tell the story of how you can redeem yourself, because
That's
at the end
what
of the day,
exactly. I think that everyone wants to hear the drug dealing and all the bad things and all this, but I think that could be a little bit part of it, how you did all that. But like really about how this changed you as a man, how like because end of the day, George, you're alive. You
yeah.
you lived through it. A lot of these people that I watched Cocaine Cowboys. Everyone's dead in that movie. Everyone died. Everyone was in jail forever. Everyone was taken out. You were able to walk away from it. Maybe you lost everything. You lost the money, but you gained a family. You gained love. You gained, and now you're giving back to people. What a beautiful story. It gives me shivers on my back just to hear that story and that beauty that you were able to do.
No, and look, when I started my company from scratch, my wife and I cleaned toilets. I built it into a multi-million-dollar company in 10 years, and I retired at the age of 50. And that's why I tell people, listen, you can't give up on yourself, man. Everybody can make it. It's just how bad you want to. It's how you see the world, half empty or half full. It's all in your
I
mind.
know, but it's hard. No, 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 George, you have a strong mind. It's very hard to do that. To do what you did, it takes. I think it took God. I think it took
Oh,
religion.
no doubt about it.
It took
Yeah.
all that to bring you back. Because otherwise, everyone wants to give up. Who wants to start over again and clean toilets, my man? That's not an easy thing to do when you're making millions of dollars and you're the richest man around. And then you got to start over again. God bless you, bro. Like that. That in itself is a story of its own.
Yeah, no, and it really is what I love telling people with this documentary Shadow of the Wolf. It's going
When
to
is it coming
inspire.
out? Is it coming out on Netflix?
Hopefully, we don't know yet. We are dealing with two big streaming, and probably sometime next summer. Because even when they got Cocaine Cowboy Kings of Miami, it took them 9 months
Wow.
to even air it. So yeah, it's a big deal, but it's going to be very powerful because it's going to also show the pain. I mean, listen, I had a son overdosed. By God's grace, he lived. I've been through hell and back. But the question is like when you get down, is do I stay down or I'm going to get up?
You got to
You
get
know,
up. Well, I
and
think God helped you get up, and then maybe having a good. Well, let me ask you a question: were you married while you were in jail, or did you get divorced and like
no,
get married afterwards?
yeah, I was married twice before prison, combined 3 years, and then
Yep.
I was celibate the last 5 years. And then at Wheaton College, I met my wife, and we dated celibate for 2 years, and then we got married, and we share the same values, and it is God who
Now,
changed me.
were
And
you
this is what I
celibate
tell.
because of religion? You were going to wait till marriage and all that?
Yeah,
Or
you
was
know
it
what?
more
I
like a
had the
refreshing for you? Because me and celibate, that's a hard word to say, but like
yeah,
nowadays, no one's celibate. But I think it's
no.
a way to protect your energy at the end of the day.
Well, for me was I wanted to do things completely different. Look, my prayer for 2 years while I was dating my wife, Lord, can I have intimate relationship with just one woman? Because if I wasn't with two, three women, I couldn't even have a normal sex. I mean, that's how how things in life get.
Yeah, and
You-
it's hard to relate with one person when you're used to two, three of them. I understand.
yeah. But I met this amazing woman, and she's like, "Look, my mother cleans houses for a living. My father is a waiter. I have nothing to give a man until except what God's given me. If that's what you want." So we created a beautiful relationship on everything but sex. All the other relationships I had was nothing but sex. And it's like, listen, eat filet mignon every day. You're gonna get tired
Yeah, you're gonna get tired. George,
if
I
that's
think
all
you
there
need to
is.
teach me about this celibate stuff and like making that connection with one woman. It's hard. It's hard. I got divorced and I'm single now. And I'm a rich man and a powerful man, so I'm like, women is not something special to me, but I want to get to that point where I fall in love again. I want to feel that love again, and I think it's being celibate might help me for a little while to find that love again.
Yeah, and it's finding the one that's with you for you and not for what you got. And that's
I know, but
hard.
what woman is not for with you for what you got, my man? Every woman's with you for what you got. That's the world we live in nowadays. That's the problem. Maybe in the 80s and 90s it was different. Nowadays, women love lifestyle. They want to see your lifestyle. That's who they want to be with. As much as they say they love you, do they really love you? That's what I'm always trying to figure out. And I always talk about conditional love and unconditional love. Unconditional love is like loving. That's your mother's love. She loves you unconditionally. And your father's love. Conditional love is what a wife is. She loves you long as you don't cheat on her. You don't do this to her. You don't
Yeah, yeah.
be mean to her. Then it's conditional. But I feel conditional love is okay too. I'm starting to realize these things. I think hanging out with someone like you will bring me wisdom and help me learn myself what are things I have to change so I can find that love.
Yeah. And there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. And I mean, I dated the most beautiful I would go into a club and see a girl I like with her boyfriend and tell my bodyguards, tell him he's got to go. She's staying with me. So it's
Yeah.
crazy. And none of them ever satisfy me. And it was till you find that right one, man.
I hear
It's
you,
like,
brother.
and God, I believe that God creates a special woman for every special man. You know,
I know they say that in our religion. It says that God has created a woman that's your opposite, that's your partner for life. So hopefully, I find that. Listen, George, I gotta get
all
off.
right,
What I'm
brother.
gonna do is this: I'm gonna set up a live at my house. I'd love you to meet with me. If you could send me your book, or I can have a driver come by pick
Yeah.
it up, or send me the name, I'll buy it.
Oh
But
no, no,
I'd
no.
love to do a
I'll be
live with
happy.
you one on one at my house. We could set something up here. Come and we'll do it for like an hour or so and have a deep live. And I want to read your book first so I know as much about you as possible. But I don't want to talk about the drug dealing days as much as I want to talk about how you changed your life and how you found God and how you became this person. Because I feel prison doesn't help people in America. And we need to fix that. We need to make it so people rehabilitate. They don't go in and they're broke and they can't get a job and they have to go. The only job they can get is back in the dark world.
Yeah, yeah. No, it is, man. Prison is meant to warehouse people, not to
Yeah.
rehabilitate.
Not to
It's a it's,
rehabilitate.
it's
And
a money
it's
it's a
become a
money
business in
engine.
America too. It's a
It's
business. All these private companies own it. Judges make money. Lawyers make money. Prison guards make money. You can go on and on. It's a huge business. Even the phone companies make money. Everyone makes money off of prisoners instead of figuring out how to fix these people. And I think that's where your story is beautiful.
yeah. No, thank you so much. Listen, have Josh send me your address, and I'll put a book in the mail today. I'll have my secretary send one today.
I'll have it sent right now. But George,
Awesome.
have yourself a wonderful day, brother. It was
All right, my
absolute
brother.
pleasure speaking to you. I look forward to doing a live with you soon in
All right.
person and podcast.
Look
Okay?
forward look forward to meeting you, brother.
Take care, brother.
Take care. God bless. Bye bye.